Welcome back, y'all, to another episode of Tony Plays The Binding of Isaac. Hope everyone's doing alright. Everyone's going about their day nice and lovely, you know how it is. I'm doing pretty okay myself. Alright, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna eat that. I just got done doing a whole bunch of nothing, really. I just went to go get some dinner with some friends. It is what it is. But, first off, hope everyone's doing alright. Secondly, yeah, went to a good dinner with my friends. While I was coming back home, not while I was coming back home, listening to some music. And I was just thinking like, damn, music's so fire, music's so goated. Then I open up Instagram when I get home and I get this post. And I don't know what's, I don't like, look, okay. You guys might be thinking, Tony, you're off to your rambling again. Bro ain't 1 minute into recording, he's already rambling about fucking nothing. But hear me out here, okay? Hear me out. So, I open Instagram and I get this video, and it's this guy who is not recording his morning routine, but like, hold on. You know what, man? I gotta see the post. I gotta see the post again. Give me a second. Give me a second. Yo, I'm keeping it a stack with y'all. I lost the post. I don't know what I did. I don't know how I did it. I managed to lose this one Instagram post that I wasn't gonna base the whole episode on, but it was gonna segue, you know? I had a plan. I was like, ooh, I should be able to segue this into this into this. Now it's all lost. Anyways, regardless, I have, I got this Instagram post. I forgot what it was. It was, what is it called? It was Freddie Gibbs. It was a song, it was a post by some account talking about how Rick Ross recorded this one verse on a Freddie Gibbs track for, was it like a bag of M&Ms and 5 toaster strudels or some shit like that. I thought it was really funny. Personally. I was like, damn, haha, this shit mad funny as hell. But I lost the post. You know, it's like somewhat related because I don't know if it was a comment in that post or something shortly after. But I remember thinking to myself like, man, Freddie Gibbs got some really good music. Something about that or whatever. But honestly, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I done lost the plot. Unc has lost the plot. So at the moment, I'm trying to figure out how exactly this came to be. Although I will say one thing, tangentially related. I think it had something to do, or I had a thought about something to do with, I guess like a morning routine kind of deal. And I kind of got a question. One, have y'all seen this? Have you guys seen these posts made by a certain content creator, goes by the name of Ashton Hall, I believe, whose whole, I guess, deal, I don't really know what really to call it. Bro got a pretty popular video off of what his daily routine was, like his morning routine. And what his morning routine ended up being is it was like him waking up at like 4 or like 3 a.m. You know, pretty much waking up at 3 a.m. to like do business or whatever, to lock in on the day ahead. And then after the 3 a.m. wake up, bro proceeded to like, you know, like what did he do? He was like getting ready. He was drinking water outside. Freaking in his underwear for some reason. I don't know. Is this like a level of Sigma I haven't reached yet? You feel me? You guys picking up what I'm putting down here? Is this like some level of Sigma I have not reached yet? But regardless, bro was like, I don't even know, man. Bro, he was just like, what? He was doing some extra stuff that all I'm gonna say is, I don't think I'm sorry to say this. You might think, Tony, you're just a lazy piece of shit for this. You know what, man? So be it. If you think I'm lazy for what I'm about to say here, then go ahead, think I'm lazy. I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to be like, no, you're wrong for X, Y, and Z. But I do not think 90% of people that work that kind of like, if you're not doing like a manual labor job, you know what I mean? If you yourself, like your job is like you work in like a bank or something, you're a banker, or you're like, or you're even worse, you're like some investment banker or whatever, something like that. You, bro, waking up at like 3 a.m. to, you know, wake up, do your 30-minute skincare routine in the morning, which is fine. I can understand a skincare routine, but like, bro, be dunking his head in the ice water, going to work out in the morning, taking like a 15-minute dip in the pool in the morning, stuff like that. I'm gonna keep it real with you, bro. I don't think you need to be doing all that. If you're like the workout, I understand, but pretty much it was like, bro woke up at 3 a.m. and then like he did his job or whatever at like 8 a.m. or some shit like that. You know what I mean? In my mind, I'm thinking like, you do not need to be having all this free time to like do whatever it is you're doing. You know, take your face water bath, make this like, I don't know, man. Once again, you can think, Tony, you're just lazy as hell. And you might be right. I would be like, you know what? I might be inclined to agree. I am a little lazy at times. However, I also know when to like take initiative, do stuff, do this, do that, or whatever. But I'm gonna keep it a stack with y'all. At least for me personally, I think waking up mad early in the morning to do whatever the hell it is you do that isn't your job kind of feels like it takes a little bit less priority. You know what I mean? Like, you guys have probably seen the video, but like this guy, he like eats a banana. Someone pointed out, and I kind of realized it too. Someone pointed out that the way he eats the banana, he eats it in a quote unquote non-gay way. You know what I mean? I don't know what the whole ordeal with not wanting to look sus or be sus is. It's some male masculinity thing or whatever, but he like breaks off, instead of eating the banana like a normal fucking human where you peel the banana from the top, stick it in your mouth and bite, bro like peels the banana, breaks off a piece and then eats it, like eats the piece with his hand. I wish I had camera on so y'all could see me so you can know what the hell I'm talking about, but it's just like, it's so stupid. What are we doing here, man? You know, I feel crazy for picking up on it, and then someone else pointed it out and it's like, it's kind of crazy that bro eats his banana like this, considering most human beings eat their banana like by just peeling the banana and then taking a fucking bite out of it. But no, instead, bro dare not do that. Bro gotta, you know, break it off. Can't avoid looking sus in front of the huzz or whatever. Some Gen Z lingo. I'm sorry if you think I'm crazy. But like, look, I know it might seem like a crazy opinion. It might be like a Tony, what the hell are you talking about? But I'm being for real. Like, I don't think you need to be spending 4 hours before whatever your actual job is to do a whole bunch of nothing, as far as I see fit, you know? As far as I see it, you're doing a whole bunch of nada. A part of me is like, I don't necessarily think that is worth it. You know, not to say, oh, Tony, he goes to bed early and he wakes up early. Yeah, but like, I feel like most people, for the most part, I think it's good to wake up when the sun's up. You know what I mean? I would think that. Maybe other people have a different opinion, but for me personally, I like to wake up with the sun. I like to go to bed with the moon. You know? Is that too crazy of an idea or something, or what? But I just don't understand like the hustle, just the hustle culture in general. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I'm not a part of it. I don't claim to be a part of it. I don't claim to understand it. In fact, I am an outsider looking in, wondering what the hell is going on 90% of the time. I just don't understand what the obsession is with needing to monetize or like, I guess, min-max certain aspects of your life that don't need to be min-maxed. You know what I mean? I mean, thinking, Tony, you talk about you used to min-max the gym. Yeah, I used to min-max like the gym. You know, of course I would want to, and also it's funny to say that because it just kind of proves that like what I'm doing for min-maxing is kind of lazy. is that I like to min-max in the gym because I want to get the maximum amount of gains for the most minimum amount of like actual effort and with no waste. That's what I do. That's what I like to do at the gym. Oh, Tony, you go to the gym for like 10 minutes. Am I getting a phone call? I'm not. You go to the gym for like 10 minutes? No, I will obviously go to the gym for like an hour, hour and a half. I will push myself at the gym. I will actively go until failure on not every set, but any ending set I'm doing, last 3 sets of anything I'm doing, actively pushing myself till failure, because that's just the way to do it. You know what I mean? At least that's how I see it. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna eat him for the damage up. And then I think we leave that. We did lock ourselves into double deals, but I'm not necessarily against that. I just wanted to for surely eat multidimensional baby for some stat up. And we have a lot of coins. I don't see why we wouldn't do this, but the part that gets me scared is I feel like in the end I'm gonna end up having a little bit of money, so let's blow that up. I know I'm over here blowing my donation machine up. I shouldn't do that. Don't worry, I'll donate at a later episode. I promise I will donate. I on Phonem, you know? But regardless of whatever's Tony's saying, I just don't understand the hustle culture feeling, you know? The need to min-max life to make the most amount of money you physically can so you can not even like retire early. It's just honestly a part of me, I see it like this. Low key, it's just kind of greed. You know what I mean? A lot. I feel like a huge part of it is like just this not overwhelming sense, but like just this need to greed to a degree. You feel me? Or am I insane? That's how I view it, at least. Once again, I'm not this amazing philosopher. Don't take whatever words I'm saying to heart. Have a, critical thinking skills are great. And I'm applying mine to what I think, like kind of how the culture feels like, is that it kind of just feels like this need to, I don't know, make money because making money is like this, is a sign of status and wealth or whatever, and you want to be seen as like, oh, I'm this super macho guy, I'm wealthy, I make all the money, I'm a money maker, I'm a player, you know, that type of shit or whatever. But I don't know, man. Me personally, I think, obviously I'm not gonna lie and be like, oh, Tony, you don't actively want to like make more money or something like that. No, not true. Of course I want to make more money, especially with like how the world is or whatever. I would like to make enough money to be comfortable, to live comfortable. But I've said it before and I'll say it again, like I be getting bored with my own life sometimes. If I'm unemployed, I don't want to have stupid amounts of money where I have more than I can think of to do with, and I'm just like, oh, well, what the hell am I to do, you know? I don't want to have that much money. If I did have that much money, then like I said, I would have to do something with my life. Or, you know, give it away or whatever. Tony, you know, I feel like, I don't know. A part of me feels like you can't talk about generosity. What's the word I'm thinking of? When you give stuff away. I feel like you can't necessarily talk about that without at least rubbing off kind of a wrong way or something. But just, you know, just ignore whatever it is. I'm not saying this to, oh, he's just only saying this. He would only donate just to look good, you know, whatever. Just ignore all of that. But I would, of course, like to make more money to live life comfortably. However, I don't feel a need to constantly do everything in my life, have a side hustle or something like that in order to make money, because I not necessarily need it, but you know, I want to make money so I can like live my life comfortably. I can do the things that I want to, but I can also like, you know, have fun. That's the point, right? I'm gonna be real with you. This might sound like a crazy statement, who knows? This might sound like a crazy statement, or someone might agree with me in this aspect, but me personally, I would rather work the regular amount of hours I work. I would rather work a full-time 40 hours a week until like my retirement age of like 65 or whatever, than work like 80 hours a week, maybe more, for, you know, just to maybe retire at like 50, you know? I'll save myself an extra 15 years in not having to work, but I will have traded it off doing something that, trust me, I don't like, you know? For what? Why am I gonna save all of my fun until I'm 50 and I can't do 90% of the things I want to do, when I can just kind of live my life in moderation now, and then when the time comes of 65 plus or whatever and I retire, or if I retire at 60, God willing I retire at 65, you know. But if possible, that'd be great. But you know, like I've said, it's I would rather just live my life how I do now, work my hours, and then have fun after work and stuff like that, you know? Tony, you saying if you would, you saying you wouldn't want to retire early? No, you're misconstruing what I'm saying. I would rather do the regular man's work, you know, work his 40-hour shift for whatever company or bullshit, and then get to enjoy the rest of the week. How many hours are there in a week? 120 something? 24 times 7. So what is that? 20 times 7 is 140 plus the remaining 4 times 7, 28. 168. It's 168 hours in a week. Am I correct on that assumption? Let's try, shall we? I'm gonna pull out the calculator right now. Let's see if my math is good at 24 times 7. 168 hours. If I sleep for a collective 8 times 7, 56 hours, and then I work for another 40 hours, what was that? 168 divided by minus, what was that? 56 minus 40. I would have 72 hours. I would have 3 whole days worth of, wait. No, yeah. I would have 3 whole days worth of time off, you know? I would have an entire 3 days worth of time off to myself now that I can just do whatever I want with. You know what I mean? I would rather do that than this hustle culture BS where even though I'm like not at work, I'm still actively working on like this side gig or whatever that might end up taking however many hours, you know, like it's probably not going to be another 40 hours, but let's see, maybe fuck it, you know, let's say you end up spending, for every time you get off work, you spend 2 hours, you know, doing an extra like side hustle stuff, or you spend an extra 2 hours for overtime or whatever, you know what I mean? So you end up working, what is that? 5, 10, an extra 10 hours. You end up working like 50 hours or whatever. So we would subtract another 10. It only gives me 62 hours. That's not even 3 days, you know what I mean? That's 2 days and 12 hours, is it? No. 2 days and 14 hours. I don't know, man. Like, I already feel like I don't have enough time with the 3 days worth of time that I get. And that's also assuming I sleep for 8 hours, you know? Or it's assuming this other, you know, in this perfect world scenario, you don't have to work for more than 40. Like, unless you're someone trying to make ends meet, then obviously it might need to be a little more or something like that. But me personally, I am fine having my 72 hours worth of time because, like I said already, I feel like I already don't have enough time to myself outside of work with the time that I've been given. So to add another extra, to lose an extra 10, you know what I mean? I just couldn't do it. I genuinely, I couldn't do it. I'm not gonna say slime myself out or anything like that, but I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna keep it a stack. I would be very, very, very upset with my my work life and my real life, you know? So all I'm gonna say is, look, if you can do it, if you are the kind of person that can work, you know, however many hours, you can do the extra 10 hours, you're part of that hustle culture, you can go that extra mile to work or whatever, then I'm gonna be real with you. Props to you, brother. You know, props to you. I couldn't do it personally, but shout out you can. However, you know, just for me, and I feel like a lot of other people might agree with me, you know, just saying, I feel like I already don't have enough time. I wouldn't want to get rid of any more of it, which is why I don't understand that hustle culture stuff. Because yeah, I could be making some more money, but it's not necessarily going to be easy money or whatever. Contrary to what some people might say, oh, just dropship, forehead. It's the world's easiest. It's a get rich quick scheme, you know, a free money glitch. But like, I'm gonna be real with you. I'd much rather just fucking, what's it called? I'd much rather, instead of just trying to get rich quick or spend all this extra time, I'm just keep it to myself and, like, you know, either A, get more sleep, play more games, do more things that I want to do, you know? Is that too crazy? Obviously, I know it's not too crazy, you know? This is a rhetorical question asked by Tony here, but I'm aware that it's not too crazy. I feel like more people at least agree with me to some aspect, but I'm just sharing my opinion on how I feel about this sort of hustle culture sort of deal. And I think definitely, me personally, definitely, I'm just, I guess, surprised by like how kind of prominent it is, or how many people actively try and do that, you know? There are people out there that collect things. This is going to turn into a whole different topic, but this is a topic I've pondered, I've had in the back of my head for a while, and I want to discuss it. But there are people out there that collect things not for the sake of just wanting to enjoy this thing or collect it because you like it, but, you know, people collect stuff for the sake of, oh, this can be worth a lot of money, I could sell this to someone, you know, maybe get some money back or whatever. And then you end up having, you end up having this sort of ordeal where you end up maybe sinking a lot of money into something you don't necessarily need or is even worth in the grand scheme of it all. And honestly, I'm not even gonna say in the grand scheme of it all, not even just worth it from like a logistical standpoint. You know, might be thinking, Tony, you seem to have something in mind in particular. I know a few people, you know, I'm related to a few of them. Some of them are my friends. And I mean this in the kindest sort of way. However, personally, I am not a fan of collecting, for this instance here, for example, Pokemon cards, or what used to be a thing, Funko Pops, you know? I know a lot of people back in the day and now. Back in the day it was Funko Pops. Everyone loved them. You couldn't get your hands off of them. You know, people were all over that shit. So what people would do is they would buy Funko Pops, these limited time Funko Pops, and like resell them and shit like that because people wanted it because it was rare. It was an exclusive or whatever. While me personally, and also some other people, sort of like collecting things for the sake of collecting things. And this has seeped over into the Pokemon side of things very heavily, and as a lot of people might say, very in very bad fashion. And that is, Pokemon card collecting has gotten absolutely out of hand. It is to a degree of awful I never thought I would see in my lifetime. And it sucks to see, as someone who, I don't collect Pokemon cards. I could give less of a shit about the Pokemon TCG. Me personally, I like Pokemon, but like the games, you know? I don't even really watch the anime. I just like the game Pokemon. I like to play Showdown sometimes with my friends, but besides that, I could give literally a rat's ass about TCG. But it kind of sucks because I have some friends who are into TCG for actually like liking, you know, wanting to play TCG. But instead, this huge boom in Pokemon card collecting that has started, I don't even know when. I remember at least in the recent couple of years, it has gone to a level I've never thought I'd see it go before. And it's for my peeps out there that know you guys are like avid TCG players, you guys actually want to play Pokemon card games, or, you know, for not even just my friends that I know, but like anyone that likes to play TCG, they don't like collecting, they just want to maybe collect a card for the sake of, hey, this is my favorite Pokemon or whatever. Instead, it's all in short, you know, supply, all in high demand. You can't even buy a Pokemon card pack without going to your local Target and it's all sold out. You know what I mean? It sucks. I don't know how to describe it, you know, man? Like, I really don't know how else to describe it other than shit is getting kind of crazy. And it sucks. I'm gonna be real. As someone who could care less, to me, it sucks. Because it's something that I have been, I guess, partaking in to a degree. Not in the aspect of Pokemon cards, but GPU prices and stuff, you know? Scalpers are what they are called. The lot of those fuck faces. Essentially, literally, it's just people buying up all the supply of these card packs or wanting to just resell these things for an insanely absurd price because people will pay it, you know what I mean? Those people suck. Obviously, I'm not gonna say I am I'm so smart, but me personally, I have the mental fortitude to know, hey, some of these prices are kind of insane, I'm not gonna pay these prices. But some people out there might not, you know? Some kid out there might really want to beg his parents to be like, hey, I really want to, you know, get these Pokemon cards or whatever, and you kind of can't, so it's just like, oh well. You know what? I'll actually take this one. Oh, interesting. I don't know how to feel about that. Let's not. Fuck it, I guess. Sure. Yeah, why not? Let's see which jar this is. Oh, it's the flies. Cool. But I mean, yeah, dude, it's I mean, I don't really know how else to describe it other than it sucks. Scalpers suck. I'm not a fan of people that collect stuff, not because they actively like collecting this thing, but because they have this profit drive in mind of, oh, I don't like this thing, but other people do, so I would love to get it and resell it to make money, you know, easy money, one might say. And a part of me gets, not even irrationally angry, I would say it's warranted. This is warranted anger. And like, this is completely fine. Tony, you of course you would think that. You're the one getting angry. Yeah. Of course I would think that. And I think a lot of people would fucking agree because the people doing it suck, you know? Like me personally, I have a display case in my room because I like the figures that I buy. I am proud of these figures, you know? But there are people out there who don't have display cases. They have reams and reams of just, you know, like boxes stored in their closet or whatever for the sole purpose of, hey, I have a whole bunch of I don't know. I forgot what the name of the card packs were, but I remember I bought some card packs from my brother because he likes collecting them because they're cool. My brother is not a reseller, a scalper, or whatever. He's not trying to make a side hustle. He just likes the Pokemon cards. But, you know, someone out there whose sole purpose is like, oh, I'm gonna make the most money I can off of this. You know, they're like, you know, for the sake of it all, I think we should go negative. Everything here kind of sucks. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna grab Sulfur. Why? For 1/3 Leviathan. Also, I get to change it into something else. Okay. But I mean, yeah, just personally, you know, personal thought slash thing I have is that I just don't like the people that do that. I think one, it's kind of a scummy move. Is you have you don't even like necessarily have like a skin in the game of this is something hobby you enjoy or whatever. It's you see this as this is a hobby that I can make money off of the people from it, you know? And in my mind, I'm like, that's cringe. That's the fucked up part. Is you're not in the hobby because you like whatever it is. You're in the hobby because you want to make money. You want to make a quick buck. It's your side hustle or whatever, you know? I collect Pokemon cards to sell to random motherfuckers that want them because I want to make money. It kind of sucks, you know? And I don't know what's up with it. Why has it infected such a many thing? It kind of blows, you know? It doesn't take a genius to kind of notice that or say that. It kind of blows for everyone involved. There are people out there whose sole purpose are to buy GPUs, not for the sake of using them, but because, hey, a GPU is worth a lot of money, plus a whole bunch of stuff going on in the US economy right now, making these prices go up. I'm gonna buy a GPU for the sole purpose of selling it to some sucker later down the line who can't get their hands on a GPU that's any cheaper. And it's like, dude, you're fucked up, you know? That's fucked up. That's even what I did, bro, you know? I got a freaking 9070 XT, the new Radeon graphics card. I got a 9070 XT, and instead of letting it sit dust, you know, letting it sit and collect dust in my freaking shelf or whatever, I decided, hey, my uncle got a PC. He's waiting to get his, you know, graphics card of his dream. So I'm gonna just be like, hey, you can borrow my 9070 because I feel bad having bought it and not putting it to use because someone else could have bought it, you know? Someone else who wanted it more than me, but maybe wasn't as lucky to get it while it was there. Freaking, you know, they got, I like, fucked them over on one. So instead of feeling bad about that, I'm like, okay, I can actually kind of I can give my GPU a purpose and also, not give myself a purpose, but you know, I can give my GPU a purpose and thus I can rationally be like, one, I didn't waste money, and two, I'm not an a-hole who bought this for the sake of like reselling or whatever. I bought this to use it and I'm putting it to use. It just, you know, God, collectors, man, not all collectors, obviously. You know, there are some people who collect for the love of the game. Some people who collect because they like to collect stuff. I like buying Metroid figures because Metroid is one of my favorite games of all time. I'm gonna be real with you. I think I have, let me check. I think I have more, not Destiny, but I think I used to. I think I used to have more Destiny and Halo stuff, but in recent time, I like getting, I like my Metroid stuff more because, in my opinion, it's cooler. It's more, it holds a more sentimental value to me, you know? But there are people out there who are like, oh, this is a fucking a popular figure people are gonna like. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna buy it and just be like, fuck y'all. Pay me if you want it. It's like, you're an asshole. You know, that you're a dick move. Dick move, bro. Shit sucks, bro, you know? Not much we can necessarily do. I mean, like, what can we do, really? Not buy from the scalpers is, I guess, the number one thing, but there are people out there that will buy, which sucks. But scalpers and people out there that do that type of shit, man, I'ma just say it. I'm not speaking the Lord's truth or whatever. I'm not some prophet speaking, you know, the truth no one has said before. But scalpers and these kind of people fucking blow. They suck. And it's a shame, you know? That's all I can really say, is that it's a shame. My fucking delirium died in like 2 rooms! You suck, bruh! What's the dealio? Okay, we'll track. Fucking not even that good. But I mean, yeah, dude, I'm just like, these people suck, man. That's all I gotta say. That's all I can really say without, I mean, like, I don't even know, you know? That's all I have to say. That's all I have to say, is just, these people suck. And I wish these people didn't exist, but they do. There are people out there whose sole purpose is to see things as a profit-driven sort of way. And if that means robbing joy from people that want to get this certain thing or whatever, then I so be it, you know? I know this. There are people out there who will buy shit from like a convention, or they will buy this exclusive item for the sake of it being exclusive and then just resell it. Happened to me with some JoJo shoes that I wanted to get my friend for Christmas. I did get my friend these JoJo shoes for Christmas. And I believe he's aware of the price now, but either way, you know, just keep it hidden from him, guys. These JoJo shoes, their whole thing was they were exclusive to Japan shoes, sold out damn near instantly, and then he like went up on the market for like double the price, and it's like, you guys sucked. You guys are assholes. One. But I know for a fact my friend wanted these shoes when it came out, so what I did is like 3 Christmases later, I just fucking bit the bullet and I bought my friend the freaking shoes because he was like, dude, this is cool. Because that's what he wanted, you know? He wanted the shoes to begin with. And I bought them for him because, you know, what else could I do? But in general, you know, just the fact that that was a thing, you know? The fact that that was a thing, though, is that people immediately bought the shoes, sold out of the shoes, because people had a thought in mind of, oh, I can make some money off of this. I can make some nice money off of this. Because it's exclusive, it will never be sold again. I can buy it and then resell it to some dude, some fucking dumbass, who's gonna buy it later down the line. And you know what? It did work. I was the dumbass. I bought it later down the line because I wanted to get it for my friend. But, you know, I ended up paying this fucker however much money. It was like, fuck, 500 bucks, 400 or 500 bucks or whatever. Like 430, for something around, somewhere around those lines. But, you know, in general, I could have gone without spending the $400, the extra, like, $200 markup that it had, because it was such an exclusive thing, you know? And it's like, my brother in Christ, they weren't even listed that high, you know? That's the part that sucks. They weren't even listed that high upon initial sale. You marked them up because you're a dickhead. I suck. That was bad. That was just bad damage. But yeah, you know, that's... There goes my rant on resellers slash these people that collect for the sake of trying to sell shit. It just kind of sucks. You know, it sucks, and it kind of fucks other people over from wanting to get things for their own sake. You know what I mean? Sometimes people like to get things for their own sake. They want it for this reason or that reason. Who am I to judge, I guess? As long as you make use of it, that's kind of where I come from. I think if you buy something and it means something to you, or you make use of it or whatever, then that's fine. I think that's a good purchase. You're not robbing someone of it, you know? Tony, it's a limited item. You're telling me I can no longer buy limited items? No, you can buy limited items. And if you end up not liking it later down the line, then, you know, that's fine. But I feel like you shouldn't own something that's limited if it brought, like, I think it's a dick move if you buy something that's limited and it brings you no joy whatsoever, other than the fact then, yes, I made a couple dollars off of it, you know, later down the line. I think that's a dick move. That's messed up. But I don't know. Maybe I'm seeing things too black and white. You know, maybe I'm seeing things too black and white. I'm trying to add some nuance to this because I feel like I owe it some nuance. You know what I mean? But I don't know. You know, you guys tell me. But I feel like my reasoning there is fine. It's solid. It can definitely stand on two legs. How I see it is, I feel like if you buy something and the only enjoyment that it brings of you is, I sure enjoyed it a hell of a lot when I sold it for like $1,000, is, that's kind of a dick move. You know, you bought it for the sole purpose of reselling it. That's a bitch move. But, you know, the freaking Metroid Dread Emmy statue that I have, I enjoy, not because I'm ever going to sell it. Who knows, later down the line I might sell it, but I don't want to. But it brings me joy knowing that it's a fucking enemy from a game that I really like, a game I thoroughly enjoy. You know, hinting, hint, hint, I don't know, we'll see how things go. A game that I have recently gotten back into wanting to attempt speedruns of. We'll see, we shall see kind of how I feel later down the line. I'm trying to do some light research into the speedrun route. I don't want to say this because I think it's a mean thing to say, and I mean no disrespect towards any speedrunners or whatever, but like, in my mind, a part of me thinks like speedrunning, that's like an unemployed thing, you know? That's like, you need a lot of free time on your hands to like learn a speedrun, to start doing speedrunning shit. You know what I mean? And once again, I mean no disrespect, I used to be a speedrunner myself, you know, funny enough. But in my mind, I feel like, man, I only have enough free time on my hands to speedrun if I was like unemployed or whatever, you know? That's how I see it in my brain. Otherwise, it's not something dumb. Obviously, I would be down to put my own free time after work into learning the speedrun, but I feel like I can't learn it, I can't get as good at it as someone else who has all the free time in the world, you know what I mean? Me who spends like maybe an hour a day trying to practice and learn the speedrun route of Metroid Dread versus someone who spends 6 hours a day practicing and learning the speedrun route. You know what I mean? Like, obviously one of us is going to be better at it than the other, and I don't think it takes a genius to kind of figure out, oh, this guy got more time, he's probably going to be better, you know? Which, whatever, you know, whatever. Tony's maybe, you know, it's not confirmed. Also, it's not like this is the GOAT's return or anything, you know? It's not like this ain't LeBron coming back to the Cavs or anything. This is Tony going back to playing a game that he likes because, one, his friend was playing it recently, and I just remember having fond memories, brother, you know? I remember having fond memories speedrunning that game. And a part of me is like, I kind of want to do it again, you feel me? A little crazy. Obviously, I'm thinking a little crazy. I don't know if I have the gall to do it. I don't know if I have the skill to be able to relearn a new any percent route. Or not any percent. Yeah, technically any percent, no major glitches. Because I know for a fact if I did any percent unrestricted, some of those tricks would be eating me alive. You know what I mean? That shit would kill me to learn or try and do. I would really need to be unemployed to try and figure some of that shit out. Like, not to... dude, I don't want to show myself my age and my Metroid Dread knowledge, but like no, I remember. I was looking at it, and I think it's something that you do in the No Major Glitches, but it sounds complicated and I'm scared of it. It is, what is it? Screw Attack Short Boost. It's like this tech you do where you can charge up your speed boost in a shorter time than you usually should be able to. You know, usually if you want to charge up your speed boost into Shine Spark, you have to run for a few seconds. Doing this glitch, you can essentially extend, like artificially extend your runtime on a platform to be able to let you run longer than you should be able to. And it sounds cool, but a part of me also kind of feels like, man, if I tried to learn this, I'd want to kill myself. You know what I mean? This shit seems like it'd be hard as hell. And I don't know if I'm up to it because of the fact that, like, I don't have free time on my hands like I used to, bro. I'm not unemployed like I used to be. I got, like, shit to do and, like, you know, stuff like that. I got, like, responsibilities. I can't wake up, immediately start practicing Dread like I used to. No, I gotta wake up, go to work, get off work, eat dinner, go to the gym, practice Dread for like maybe an hour, and then like I gotta hop on the game with my friends if they want to play or whatever. Oh, Tony, just don't hop on the game that day. Yeah, but then that means I get to shorten my time. If I don't hop on the game that day, then that means I would have to like spend one day learning Dread, one day not learning Dread or whatever. Overall, I'd still feel like I'd have less time than someone who just had all the free time in the world. You know what I mean? Me personally, that's just what I think. That's just what I think, you know, I'm not trying to insinuate nothing or any shit like that, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, personally. Get me now would be great, however, I don't have the health. I don't have the health to be able to afford all that shit, man. Oh, I'm dead. Oh, I'm dead. Oh, I'm dead. Right? I'm so cooked. Unicorn stump? Okay, not bad, I guess. Technically. The nail? It could be worse, could be better. This room kills me. This room kills me, right? This room kills me? Oh my goodness, 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 no! Whatever. Anyways, you know, it is what it is. Anyways, I want to thank y'all for watching. If you guys did enjoy, I greatly appreciate it. Hope you guys have a good day and or good night, depending on the time reviewing this. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace out.